Archibalds, two Archibalds, and an Alan Archibald.
Hello, and welcome to Day 4 of the 12 Days of Archie series, where we are going to look back on an eventful series of games against Cowdenbeath in our 12-13 Promotion 1 season. Marc Wallace was there.
On the first day of Christmas, when true or good to me,
I remember going to it thinking it was just really cold. Like it was foggy and cold, but no. You would think there would be any inclination that it would get abandoned or anything like that. And then I just remember, you know, at Central Park opposite the two stands, you've got the kind of new-ish and the kind of old wooden one beside it. So we were over the other side, and it was icy. It was like icy on the terrace, you know what I mean? And like, you know, like thinking it could be a bit dodgy.
The game that lives long in the memory from that season took place at Central Park, one of the most unique grounds in Scottish football.
I think Central Park is one of the most unique places to ever watch football. I don't think I'll see I don't think, unless I go abroad, I will see a football ground much in its mould, should I say. It is a bowl, a terraced bowl with two stands, one wooden, one more modern, at one side, and three sides is like stepped terracing with like a outbuilding that doubles as the pie stall, where you've got your lavies and your pie stall and all that. It's not great. The view is shit, no matter what side you choose to stand on. It is like the view's terrible. It's
they have the fences for the stop cars to stop the cars from.
It's no great.
I kind of like it. I have a.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it has its charm. A unique place to watch football, but it's unique in the sense that it's dabbing it with faint praise. Yeah. If you catch the drift.
There's a reason why this isn't the model. Put it that way. That's why it's unique.
Yeah, it's not. It's Cowdenbeath, the town. Great.
Yeah.
I think football ground. Shite.
I have a total fetish for like football grounds that double as other things. So like, you know, Ashfield Speedway and all that, and Stock Car. I don't know why. I know people hate like running tracks and stuff like that around stadiums and all that. I don't know why. I quite like the sort of multi-purpose stadiums. Just I don't know. It's just something that I've always liked since I was a kid. But
I advocate strongly for close to the pitch. I want to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Preferably from the side. I hate being behind the goal unless it's like I like being behind the goal at grounds like Tynecastle or Rugby Park, where it's high up and you can see. But see if it's like middle or low behind the goal, like Hamilton. I don't even mind Hamilton, because Hamilton you're up above.
Yeah, there's a platform. Like, yeah.
But see, like behind the goal at like. Let's say Johnston or St Mirren.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing I really like about this is that there's a weirdly communist aesthetic about it. Where if you ever watch like,
it's like that, definitely feels like that particular game, the abandoned one, feels like it does feel like something out of the death match, you know, the one where like they talk about like the Ukrainian team that played the Nazi soldiers.
Yeah, it's very
gives off that sort of vibe of like that sort of communist, brutalist.
Yeah, if Jordan Le Carre ever had to write about a football match, it's probably gonna be like this in terms of just intense fog. The grates around the stadium, obviously it's to stop the cars from crashing into it and stuff like that. But if you ever watch like footage of like UEFA Cup or Cup Winners' Cup, European Cup games from like behind the Iron Curtain, like Yugoslavia and stuff like that, and you ever look at them, you always see things like that to kind of keep
sort
of rabid fans like your Partizan and Red Stars and all that.
I always remember watching, like, you used to watch Because if you before they moved, when Dynamo Kiev played at the old Lobanovsky Stadium, and it was just like in Shakhtar at the old Centrale Stadium, and I just remember it being like a bowl, a tracker in it. It was proper Soviet hangover shit, like, and that's what Central Park is like. It's a unique ground.
Brutalist architecture aside, Cowdenbeath used the pitch to their advantage as Archibald's 11 struggled in the cold conditions.
I must admit, if Cowdenbeath were to ever somehow leave it, I would feel a bit upset, because it gives them a bit of their own thing, because like they're a small club with sadly dwindling attendances. I've got a lot of time for Cowdenbeath. I really do. I've got some very nice people who I'm pals with that support them. I think it gives them a bit of, it's like this ground's a shithole, but it's our shithole. We're going to bring you down to our level in our shitty park, if you know what I mean. Like, I mean that in the nicest possible way.
I mean, like Archie talked about this in his match report afterwards, talking about how when the fall came down and all that, the pitch, like, it's a really tiny pitch at Central Park, and it was such a lottery.
Small. See, for what you would like, it's for such a wide stadium, obviously for the track, it's a really small, tight pitch. It's hard work if you're no used to it. Like, you can struggle, and like we have had struggles against Cowdenbeath before. I remember the first time I ever went to Cowdenbeath, we lost. It was the season, mind they done back-to-back promotions under Danny Lennon.
Yes.
We lost 2-1 that day. Greg Stewart scored for Cowdenbeath that day, actually.
It just shows you, I mean, we found this, like, going to places like Allen and stuff like that. I mean, like, long balls, just, like, putting in long balls and having to adjust your play to, not punt the ball up so far, because it's a short pitch and we'll just go it.
Like, this is one thing I've always said, like, it's like, we're in the level we're at now, it's like, we probably should have enough to beat these teams, but I don't think we could be too surprised if they get one over on us, because they know what they're gonna. They know the expectation of the teams they're up against. Like us and Falkirk, and you look at the teams in this division. Like us and Falkirk have dropped silly points. Us maybe more than Falkirk have, but we have. Like Falkirk drew at home to Forfar, and we've lost to Peterhead at home. So like it's no been certainly not the procession. Not that I expected it to be anyway, right enough, but it's not been like certainly what you think when you come to these smaller grounds, these small towns.
Unexpectedly trailing in the game, Mother Nature then handed Thistle a much needed lifeline.
Of course, we were 2-1 down, and like you could see the fog like rolling in over the stand. You're like, this might get called off.
Were you hoping for an abandonment?
Yes, because we were terrible. We were fucking terrible. I just remember seeing it roll in and roll in and roll in, and you're like, okay. You always have the thought in your mind, like, is he going to play this out to a finish? Because it was an important game. It was like one of our games in hand on Morton, because we needed to win it at the time. We really, really did. Like, we were really, I think it was at a point where Morton were like 9 points ahead.
Despite the conditions, the Thistle fans still displayed their trademark humour, as Kieran Ashton explains.
I was there, but it was a one where they were chanting like, "Where's the ball?" and all that, wasn't it?
were they doing it? I didn't.
I think because I remember. I think when Manpreet was big in his YouTube back then, there's a chant of the Thistle fans going, "Where's the ball? Where's the ball?" And it's just the fog just descended over the stadium.
it got to literally that point where you couldn't see the other side of the ground. Like, it was Craig Charleston was the ref, and you're like, he's got to do something about this. Like, shouting at the ref, he's like, fucking call it off, call it off, call it off. There was like about 400 Thistle fans over on that side, like telling him you need to call it off. Because Archie went over as well to the linesman. He's like, you need to fucking abandon this. I can't see my players. You couldn't see anything. You really couldn't. It's like it reached a point where it's like, this is absolutely horrific to know this actually. You actually can't see the other side of the park, and get called off. Like, the referee came over and whistled and put everybody back inside. And like, I swear to God, it was cheered like we'd won 3-2. Swear to God. And I remember getting on the bus back, City Centre bus back, Duncan bus, and getting on Twitter and just seeing all the tears for the Morton fans. It's a disgrace. The result should stand. The result should stand. They were losing.
The abandonment was just one example of a number of rescheduled games for Thistle that season.
I'm sure there'll be some Thistle stato out there who can disprove it, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find a game that has been more postponed or abandoned than this game, and certainly in Thistle's modern history. Very much a great piece of pub trivia. This game was originally meant to be on the 8th of December at Central Park, and the game was postponed due to a frozen pitch at that point. The game was then rearranged to the 2nd of February, a week after we'd played Cowdenbeath and beat them 2-1 at Firhill. And this time it was again postponed due to a waterlogged pitch this time, and was then first rearranged. Our next game, actually on the 9th of February against Raith Rovers, was also postponed for similar reasons as well. So rough times in the Fife at that point. We then came to the 26th of February where this game happened, and again the game was abandoned due to fog. The game was then rearranged for the 19th of March, where again it was postponed due to snow this time. So we'd had ice, then we'd had waterlogged pitch, then we'd had fog, and then we'd had snow. 4 times the game had been called off due to the weather. The Raith Rovers game actually from February was also postponed a second time the week before as well. In addition to a postponement against Hamilton Accies, we really had no luck at all with abandonments. The game was finally played on the 27th of March at Central Park, and then we had to go back to Central Park 3 days later to play them again because of the fixture pile-up. Because of all these postponements and rearrangements and things like that with this and the Raith Rovers game and the Hamilton Accies game, we actually played 6 games in March and 7 in April, trying to get rid of the backlog of all these games. So to be going for a title race and have 13 games in 2 months just really showed you the mountain that Thistle had to climb to get past Morton. Especially when you combine it with the Ramsons Cup run. You know, we went deep in a cup and we had to rearrange games for that. Yeah, we played a lot of games that season, and we had to certainly earn it.
Nevertheless, 2 trips to Cowdenbeath in March saw Thistle well on their way to clinching the Division 1 title.
Because that was the first of 3 games we would play against Cowdenbeath. Although this one didn't finish, but the other 2 obviously did. And they were the rearranged fixture of this. I remember when we rearranged it, we played them twice in 3 days. And at the end of March, we beat them 3-0. And there was a massive set too, because Scott Fox came out to punch the ball, and he absolutely levels Jason Naismith, who's now going on to be a pretty fucking decent Premiership defender. But like, at that time he was on loan for St Mirren, and Scott Fox actually broke his jaw. Doolan got 2, Donald got the other one. There's a great photo of Pate celebrating in the snow. And then we played them on the Saturday and beat them 2-1. James Cragen and Doolan scored that day. Morton get beat off Raith the same day. and like that swung it. Because I remember, because Martin Cowdenbeath hit the bar with a free kick in the last minute. Always mind that.
Thistle icons Stevie Lawless and Conrad Balatoni, who we spoke to earlier on this year, are quick to cite this Cowdenbeath abandonment as a turning point in the title race.
Do you think that was the key moment? Do you think that was the turning point within the squad? That was the moment everyone really believed?
Yeah, I think that was just fate, because I don't think we'd have got that result. I think it was like 70th minute or something, and that we're 2-1 behind. So I don't know if we'd have got back out of that game, but we obviously went back and got 3 points the next time we played them, so it was massive for us.
And I think we were 2-0 down, and I just think we're never going to win that game. It was just one of them nights. Obviously, it got this one, and then we thought, we've got a second chance at this, and we went back and beat it. I think it was 2-0. And I think from then we thought, we've got a bit of luck here, we need to keep going, and then literally we just rampaged through the games, and obviously I think we didn't win every game, but we went and beat Morton 1-0, and then we went and beat Edry, come back in the last 5 minutes. So games like that are massive, and I think if we didn't do that and we didn't show the character that we did, then I don't think we would have got the promotion that we wanted.
It was like we were so good that season, but like our entire season boiled down to these 2 games against Cowdenbeath in March, the first one obviously being the replay of this, and the Challenge Cup final where we didn't turn up. The one game we didn't turn up after Archie got appointed. And I always think about that. There was a guy who tried to raise 30 grand on a GoFundMe to write a book about this season, and he get mocked on Telling Me's Pele. I think it was Craig Telford. Anyway, guys review for Terrace said, "Oh, this guy, what's he wanting that much money for to write a book about that?" And it's see, in fairness, if ever was a football season to write a book about, it probably would be that one, because it had literally everything.
Thank you for joining us on the 4th day of our 12 Days of Archie series here on Draw, Lose or Draw. It was narrated by Matt Greer and edited by David Forrest. Contributions from David Forrest, Marc Wallace, Kieran Ashton, Stevie Lawless and Conrad Balatoni. As always, stay safe and wear a mask.